All right, what's up, boys? I hope you've been enjoying the boot camp and everything. I hope you have been getting a lot of value from my channel in general. So obviously the title of this video is a joke, like it's a complete, like I'm not being dead ass with the title. It's kind of funny, I thought, but I was just going to give you guys a little bit of a backstory on my life and how I got involved with trading, specifically futures using order flow, and kind of give you guys a rundown since I've never really, like, I guess, opened up to my channel or my subscribers or anything about like my own journey as much. Not like I should have or anything. Like it's obviously not something you need to open up about, but I just never have shared too much about myself. So in this video, I was like, fuck it, I'll just make a video and kind of let you guys in on my backstory a little bit more and let you in on myself. So yeah, really I'm just gonna talk about how I got into trading, what I was doing before trading, all that good stuff. And basically to give you guys a little bit of a backstory, I've kind of always been, like everyone in trading has the same situation where they all started like maybe they were flipping shoes in middle school. That's something I was doing. Flipping shoes in middle school, making some money doing that, and then various other things. Obviously worked a bunch of jobs when I was younger, working at grocery stores. I worked at Target before. I worked at a steakhouse before, and obviously doing that. And while I was doing all of these jobs, like I wouldn't even call it like an entrepreneurial. Well, my first entrepreneurial venture technically was, I guess, flipping shoes. But like after that, what I ended up getting into was making beats. I know some of you guys have seen my HS8s I had in the background of my older videos. And I had some people reach out to me like, yo, you make beats or you make music or whatever. And the answer to that is yes. I started making beats and making music when I was probably 17 years old in high school. And I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So it's not the biggest type of city. So I was just making beats basically for like local rappers in my city for the most part, and made a lot of connections with cool people doing that. And that was definitely an interesting experience. Like for me, I grew up outside of the city. I was more in the suburbs type of area. I was like 15, 20 minutes outside of the city. And basically, I would go down into the city like all the time and go to the studios all the time and make beats and stuff and all that type of stuff. So that was like my real beginning of entrepreneurial venture, I guess, if you want to call it that. But anyone who makes music or makes beats specifically knows that you got to grind so hard. And the biggest thing is getting your beats out there. Like you got to send so many, and you really have to treat it like a business. And that is something I was not doing. I was making a ton of beats. And like, I'm only telling you guys this because I did this for like from 17, call it to like 2022 is when I kind of stopped doing it. Did not make too much money from it. Probably made like around like $1,000, $1,500 total in that whole time just by selling beats. So obviously not very successful venture. And one thing I'll say is it was a good experience doing all that stuff. And like I met a ton of cool people who I still fuck with today. And that was definitely like, it was cool. It was really cool. Like it was a fun experience. It was a fun time. But at the end of the day, like we're trying to make money in real life, right? So anyway, that's kind of like the beginning of my entrepreneurial experience, I would say. I wouldn't even consider like the shoe flipping that crazy because I never took it to extremes that some of these other people did. And I didn't do it all through high school or anything like that. Yeah, so I was making beats. I went to college at Arizona State. I studied business, and while I was there, I invested a lot of my money into cryptocurrency in 2020. Right after the COVID crash happened, I was always interested in financial markets, but I was really paying attention to the markets at that time because obviously we had that crazy crash. And the one thing I remember seeing was Bitcoin recovered from 3K to 8K very quickly. And it was one of the only assets that recovered like that, and it caught my eye and it caught my attention. So I was buying Bitcoin at like $8,000. I bought Ethereum at like $200. I was buying XRP at like 20 cents. I was, all these little cryptos, and I was putting like all my money into it. And the reason I did that was because I knew the government printed like 25% of the entire money supply in like 2 years or something crazy like that. And I'm still like kind of a naive kid, right? Like I was smart and everything. And I definitely made the calculated decision, right, to do it based off of real reasons in the real world, but I was kind of like, I was not some financial expert and or anything like that. Like I was just like, oh, they're printing 25% of the money supply. By default, assets are going to go crazy, especially Bitcoin, which is a hedge against inflation. So that's pretty much what got me into crypto. So I obviously had a lot of success with that. And on during this time, I'm going to college, making beats, watching my crypto portfolio go crazy. Ended up dropping out of college, and I did that after my second year of college. I dropped out. I was like, what am I going to do with a business degree anyway? Everyone has one. It's not like I was going to school for anything special. I wasn't going to school to be a lawyer, a doctor, or anything that you really needed a degree for. In my opinion, business degrees are kind of just like a waste of time. I hate to say that, but I really do believe that business degrees are kind of a waste of time. Once again, the reason I say that is because everybody has them. And on top of that, like my business classes, bro, like I don't think I learned a single thing about business. None of my professors had experience running a business. And that was the thing I was interested in the most, was figuring out how to run a business or just getting involved in business, basically figuring out how to create and run a business. That's why I studied business. So whatever. And I know that there's going to be arguments for and against that. So you guys take that however you want. I don't really care. But anyway, I dropped out, and obviously I had some money from crypto. And on top of that, I'm still making beats. And if I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, I was, I went to ASU. I was in a fraternity. The house that I lived in my sophomore year was like our main night party house. And if you guys know anything about ASU, like basically the biggest parties are the frat parties, and we had them like 3 times a week. But basically, to where I'm going with this is I was around a lot of degeneracy. I was around a lot of degeneracy. I was partying, I was getting fucked up, I was smoking a lot of weed, I was, doing drugs. I was everything you can think of. Like I promise you, I was doing it. It was bad. It was really fun. I'll admit that. And I think that if you're going to school for business, that's about the only value you're going to get out of college, is the social experience. So whatever, I was doing that, I was having fun like this entire time. And so after I dropped out, I was just kind of like making a lot of music and focusing on making music and everything, and making beats specifically, and pretty much just didn't have a solid, like, I didn't know where exactly I wanted to go. There's always been a few things I've been interested in. That was trading, and that was real estate. And I never really did anything with real estate yet. I plan to in the future, but um that's just kind of like my foundation. I'm just giving you guys an insight on everything in that time period. So that's around like 2021, 2022. And really, to put it very simply, I'm pretty much just being a retard in college that has some money that doesn't go to college anymore, just like living at ASU. And it was fun, but looking back on it, I would have definitely done some things differently. And I didn't get into trading really until a few years later. So my first real introduction into trading was whenever I found out about perpetual futures contracts with crypto. So that's literally just crypto futures. I'm sure a lot of you guys know about them. They're just, obviously you can trade with very high leverage, and it's just a derivative asset of, or a derivative of the actual asset itself. So I got into crypto trading, and I was essentially trading like a complete retard. Like I would sometimes, a lot of the times, I was just going in trades like pure speculation. I'm not even kidding. And I actually made some money doing that. Obviously, I lost some money doing that. I used to go in with like decent size, I guess you could say. Like there was trades where I would make like 3, 4 bands in a day. I've made trades where I'd made like 15K in a day. Definitely had some crazy losses in perpetual futures as well. Nothing more than like 10K, but still it's obviously a fat number. And I was being a complete like retard, if I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. But that's how I really started trading. And I was not taking it seriously at all. I was not taking it seriously at all. I was not following risk management protocol. I was not really trading a system. At one point, I was trading like Elliott waves, and I had some success with that, had some losses with that. But really, I just kind of stopped doing that for a while. And this entire time, I'm pretty much partying, doing a lot of like smoking a lot of weed, doing other stuff, and essentially just cruising through life, like pretty much with no purpose and no like vision other than I know I want to make a lot of money, but that's pretty much it. I didn't really know what I was gonna do. Like I was still making a lot of music, and I was just basically every day I would be pumping out beats, getting high, doing other stuff like, messing around with girls, like all the bad things in life. Like I'm telling you guys, like it was honestly kind of a darker period looking back on it, if I'm gonna be completely honest with you. It was an experience for sure, but it was not living properly and it was not anything like that. So eventually, after the I spent all my time at ASU and all my friends graduated, and I was like, all right, I do not want to live here anymore. Not a fit. Like I love Arizona, but it was just not where I wanted to live at. And at the same time, I didn't want to go back to my hometown, which is Pittsburgh. I love Pittsburgh as well, but I didn't want to go back there because it's just kind of like dead. And I love my friends in Pittsburgh and everything, but it wasn't where I wanted to like be as a younger 20s kid. So I'm like figuring everything out at the end of, I guess you could call it my senior year, but obviously I wasn't going to school. So I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, what am I on, bro? And I was just like kind of in the same spot where I was like, all right, well, I'm kind of like trading a little bit and nothing crazy. Like I'm making some money, losing some money. I still have a ton of money from crypto that I'm basically living off of. I didn't know anything about real estate. I didn't know how to get into real estate. I honestly, at this time, I remember my mindset at the time was I want to wait for the real estate market to crash and then that's when I can start like really trying to get involved. Obviously, that never happened and I never got involved in that. So, one thing I did do though was I found this dude named Jeff Seckinger who I respect a lot and he was basically teaching people how to use business credit to get into crypto mining. So I was interested in that, and I was like, okay, I can start a Bitcoin mining company and invest into cryptocurrency miners. I was actually going to mine Kadena, which is a token with the ticker KDA. Some of you guys might have heard of it, but that was basically what I was thinking about doing. So I'm like, all right, I want to get out of Arizona. Where am I going? I My top two choices were, all right, I could go to Miami or I could go to a different city, maybe in Texas, because Texas was really good for um, energy prices and crypto mining. There's a ton of crypto mining in Texas. So I was like, all right, maybe I can get a bunch of miners in Texas, move to Texas. And that was my game plan. So I basically moved out to Texas, to Dallas. I visited it for like a week by myself, messed around in the city a little bit, and I liked it. And like within the next month, I got an apartment out here and pretty much just like completely uprooted. I already uprooted from Pittsburgh to go to college, then I uprooted from Arizona again, came to Dallas, started another life, I guess. And when I got out here, I was, you know, thinking about my decisions some more, and I didn't buy any crypto miners at this time. I was working on the whole business credit thing, and I was like, honestly, the timing is just not going to work out. Like, if I'm going to take out a bunch of credit card debt to go into crypto mining, the timing obviously has to be correct. So basically, I come out in 2022, and this is kind of when the bull market's cooling off. I don't remember the exact price Bitcoin was trading at this moment, but I knew that if I was going to take a bunch of credit cards and buy crypto miners, I was most likely going to have to sit in the negative for a few years. And that was something I did not want to do at all. I was like, fuck that. That sounds like a terrible idea. So I ended up not doing that. And I was in Dallas now, which is fine because I wanted to get out of Arizona, period, regardless of what I was doing. And I was like, what do I do now? Like, I'm trading these crypto futures. I'm not taking it seriously. I'm not doing anything with it crazy. And this is kind of one of the points where I can say one of the things I wish I did differently was like, one, I didn't even know about you can trade like index futures on the stock market. I thought you needed a lot more money to do that. I was just not informed, to put it very simply. Obviously, looking back now, it's very easy to say, oh, I wish I started everything that I'm doing, or everything I started a year ago or a year and a half ago. I wish I was doing that then. It's very easy to say that in hindsight, but it is true. I honestly view a lot of my time at ASU when I dropped out as pure, like, a waste of time. Like, it was fun. I had a social experience, doing fun stuff and everything, but as far as like a personal growth and a development perspective, I was not doing any of that. If anything, I was regressing and becoming and just wasting my time. So if you guys are younger and you're watching this, if you're already in order flow trading, good for you. That's awesome. But the second thing I would give you guys as advice is make sure that you are spending time on things that are worthwhile. It's easy to get caught up, especially if you have some money from something already, like crypto. It's easy to like kind of float around and, waste your time doing degenerate things like I was doing. So don't do that. So the next thing I did was I was like, all right, well, I got to try something. And I started running ads for some real estate agents and some solar salespeople. Did not like that at all. I was complete, like, it was the whole SMMA thing. Like, I paid for a course, I set up everything. I did that literally for probably like 3-4 months. Did not like that at all. Hated all of that. That was my first thing. That was like my first time ever doing anything sales related. So I didn't even know, like, I know now what to do looking back on it. And when I was doing it, I knew what to do, but I hated it. And I basically did that for probably around 6 months. And I was like, fuck this. I don't even like this. This sucks. And I stopped doing that. And this is whenever I tried to start taking crypto trading more seriously. So I was trading more of a system, better risk management, had some success, whatever. And it was nothing, but the crypto markets were just not it. Like, they were moving a lot slower, and like my trades would take sometimes like a few days to play out, basically. So I didn't like that. I wanted a way to get in a trade and basically know if I'm right or not, like, immediately. I wanted to trade more of a faster paced market, or a market that had more opportunities on the lower time frames, I guess is the simple way to put it. So flashing back to like when I started getting interested in crypto in like 2020, I think it was 2020, maybe it was more towards 2022 actually, but I came across Carmine Rosado, and I just found him basically by his supply and demand videos and everything. And I paid for his course, which was like $300 or something at the time. It was just an A to Z course on futures trading. And to be completely honest with you guys, I did not take that seriously at all when I bought it. I got into it and I was like, I still didn't even, like, I don't even know what I was doing at that time, if I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. So yeah, I just didn't take that seriously. I didn't even, like, once again, I didn't even think you could trade futures or anything like that. I didn't even know about it. And I don't even remember what I did. I probably bought the course, watched a few videos, and like was doing other stuff, to be honest with you. I was probably like just making beats and half-assing everything. That's what I was doing. So skip forward back ahead to like 2023. So to put a long story short, I started trading order flow seriously starting in 2023 of December. So I started trading order flow, actually it was November of 2023. Had a month where I was just trading demo, and then I got a prop firm challenge in December. I passed my prop firm challenge my first try, which to this day I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. When I review my trades from that month, they were a lot of good trades, but there was a lot of bad trades. And I was actually quicker to take profits a lot more than I am now back then. So I think that actually played a role in me passing this challenge my first try. So I basically passed it in a month. I got my first funded account my first try in January, and I was like, "Oh, I'm really good at this." And I started risking. I remember I was risking 600 a trade on my first funded account. And the first day I had it, I was like trying to make money, obviously, because I knew I could get paid out. Basically, I blew that first funded account in 2 weeks, within the first 2 weeks of January. And I guess that discouraged me, and I stopped trading from January to, I thought I was trading in April. I have no data in my TradeZella from the middle of January until all the way until May of 2024. So that's like around a 3 month break, at least in terms of taking it seriously. I do remember I had a few accounts that I blew, but I don't think I was trading it seriously. Like I was obviously not documenting my trades. And to be completely honest with you guys, I was most likely over leveraging and just trying to pass another account like I did the first time. And I wasn't trading the same way at all. I was being more of a dumbass in terms of trading. At the end of May, I believe, is when I started my YouTube channel, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna document my journey on YouTube. That's what I started doing. So I'm documenting my journey. I had a profitable summer, the entire summer of 2024, passed a funded account, got it funded, got my first payout in September. And you guys can go back on my channel and like see all that if you really want to. But I ran up my funded account to like $5,600, and I only took an $800 payout, I believe. And basically, I did that because I was like, all right, I got a buffer. Now I'm going to start trading heavier and try to build it up for a big payout. And that was my mindset at the time. So I took out 800 because then my daily or my maximum loss limit was the same as the normal drawdown on the account I was trading, which was 400 or $4,500. Took my first payout, and I was actually in Pittsburgh. Then I flew back to Dallas, and I guess I thought I was the shit again. And I proceeded to have a singular day of tilt where I could show you guys on my data. If I think I've showed it before, but it's definitely on my channel. But if you guys want to go back to October, like the first day of October, maybe it's in the first week, I had the craziest tilt day I've ever had. And I took one trade, I think it went like 2 points away from my TP, reversed, went break even, took another trade, went break even, took another trade, took a loss, and I went full tilt after that moment. I'm talking like I took literally 12 losses that day in a row, which was completely out of my rules. I don't even know what I was doing that day. Like my fucking brain turned off, bro. And I was just like, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Like, I really don't. So that set me up for failure. I hit my daily loss limit, which was $3,000. I had 1,500 in my account probably, and I was completely discouraged after that day. I was like, what the fuck did I do? And I just couldn't get it together. I remember basically that day, volatility kicked in, and I was not adjusting, obviously. And the rest of that October, I struggled and slowly bled that account to failure. So I blew that XFA. After that happened, I took another break from trading, and then my MacBook was actually, it like fried, and my only half my screen worked. So I pretty much didn't have a computer that worked well. At least I thought it was gonna blow up, bro. Like it would get so hot to the point where I would touch it and it would like damn near burn my finger. I'm not even kidding. Whenever I had like Bookmap open. So I basically took another month off of trading, and then I went back home in December to visit my hometown for a few weeks. And that was when I finally got my computer when I came back to Dallas after New Year's. And I built my own PC. So I built the PC, traded January a little bit, and then February is when I kicked it off again, except this time I'm trading a live account. So I had a lot of success in February. You can see that on my YouTube as well. Ran up a live account to like $3,800 in a month, and did not take any payouts for myself, which I regret doing. I should have definitely done that. And then once again, the first week of April, we had some volatility come in. And I had another day where I broke my rules. I think it was like 6 or 7 trades, losses in a row. And I was definitely oversized for that account. I should have stuck to one mini. I was trading 2 minis, and I ended up fucking that up and basically bled that account out for the next month. And then after that, I've been basically in and out of live accounts and a little bit of prop firms. Had some success, had some blown accounts and everything, but really have not been able to find consistency, which is what I'm really focused on moving forward, is just maintaining consistency. Because getting into winning trades is actually not the hard part. Finding a winning trade and getting it, it's kind of hard, but like that's not the hard part of trading. The hard part of trading is maintaining consistency for the rest of time, right? So that's what I've been working on this entire time. Like I said, I have not been trading too many funded accounts. I've been kind of in and out of funded accounts, but have not taken any payouts or anything like that. So yeah, now I'm here working on consistency, trying to be consistent forever. And I'm going to start a 75 hard trading edition challenge, which if you guys want to follow along that, tap into my Discord. I'm going to share it with everybody. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep everybody updated with that on my Instagram. So like I plan on posting daily report cards, the trades I took obviously, and then doing all the other stuff that I'm going to do in that challenge. But that's what I'm going to do starting like tomorrow, probably. I know I haven't been very open with my background and my life in general with the internet because, to be honest with you, that's just not something I've ever been interested in doing. But at this point, I really don't see any reason why I shouldn't do that because, a lot of people kind of ask me questions sometimes about these things and I answer them. But yeah, I just basically wanted to give you guys a little bit more of an insight on who I am, and hopefully you can take some of the things I said and make your life better using my experience. But basically, the main thing I would say walking away from this video is if you're younger, make sure you're not wasting time and like being a retard, basically, especially if you're like at a party school or something in college. It's really easy to fall into that trap because all your friends are going to be going out and drinking every weekend, partying, not even just the weekends, but on the weekdays. And it's very easy to fall into that because you're like, oh, I'm in college. Why wouldn't I do this, right? And it makes sense to a certain extent, but the only benefit you're getting from college, if you do not have a degree that is actually valuable, is the social experience. So I guess take advantage of it. But another thing with that is just try to be crystal clear on what you're going to do. And if you're going to do something, you got to go all in. Like when I was making music, I was definitely all in terms of making the music, but I was not like all in terms of pushing my beats as hard as I could have been and like really trying to get in on the business side of everything. Like I was tapped in and everything, but I was not doing the business side properly. And in my honest opinion, I wasted a lot of time doing the music stuff, and the marketing stuff was all right or whatever, but it was kind of more of a learning experience. I wouldn't really call it a waste of time as much. The music thing or like making beats and stuff, that is honestly what I've spent the most amount of time on in my life to this day on anything. Like I did that for a long time and I was not focused on the money at all with that. Like obviously in any professional endeavor you make, you have to be focused on the money to a certain extent. Obviously, you want to do things that you love doing, but at the end of the day, that is a absolute requirement for business in the first place. So that's the things I could tell you with, and especially if you are someone who's making beats, because I actually see a lot of producers end up getting into trading. Um, Make sure you view it for what it is. Like don't be sitting here thinking you're gonna be like the next Metro Boomin unless you are actually like developing relationships with artists who are actually dedicated and consistently dropping shit. And like you need to be on a different level in terms of networking and marketing yourself. Like you actually have to take that, arguably the most important part of the process if you are someone who's doing that. Yeah, the main thing I guess I could say is pick something and go all in. That's kind of what I'm doing with trading order flow specifically. So this is what I love to do, and this is what I'm gonna make work for myself. That's why I'm all in. That's why I'm putting out free value for you guys. Not only does it help you guys for free, but it also reinforces all of these concepts in my brain even more than they are. Yeah, like I put everything into this. Like I'm not even kidding. I am easily, I would say, like I work harder than I would say at least 80% of the trading community. I'm not even kidding. I don't have any doubts when I say that. Could be more than 80%. I don't know. But I put in so much effort. And basically, the only thing I have left to do is consistently take profit out of the market. That's like the only thing I have left to do. I really feel like that's coming very, very soon. I feel like I'm so close to it. I know exactly what I want to see, where I want to see it, how I want to trade it. It's just a matter of staying disciplined. And whenever I'm on a hot streak, it's a matter of remaining grounded and not letting myself ego trade and mess myself up and put myself in drawdown or put myself in a position I don't want to be in. So yeah, if you guys have found this channel, I really appreciate you guys subscribing and following along. I really had never even thought about making a YouTube channel in my life. I was just like, one day, I don't even know what happened. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna just start posting on YouTube and developing an audience. And basically, the main reason I had for that was I had no one in my life that traded anything. Like, I literally know nobody from my real life who got into trading or anything. Like, I didn't know anyone. So I was like, I want some friends that trade and specifically trade order flow and everything. And I have been fortunate enough to develop some cool relationships with people that I made only because I started posting on the internet. So that has been awesome for me. And I really appreciate you guys, like I said, for following along. And I hope you guys get value out of my channel. But yeah, that's just a basic rundown of my life, I guess, or at least the last decade of my life. And yeah, more great things to come. You guys will see it all. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.